Hi, welcome to Chaz Speaks, where I speak on things related to politics, motivation, faith, and things related to the culture. And right now, there is a lot of things going on relating to all of those, the culture, the politics. And some people need encouragement, and also where our faith is concerned. And I have my friend Crystal here with me, and she's going to give us a little bit of her journey from supporting Black Lives Matter to actually seeing what they do and then saying, no, this isn't right, and making a right turn instead of a left turn. But before we get into that, please remember to subscribe, like, share these videos. Also, if you want to support my channel, please look at my Teespring store that's in the description, as well as you can donate to my PayPal, which is also there. So let's go ahead and get into this. Crystal, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you,
I'm
Chastity?
good. I know that you've been a little bit hesitant to do this because coming out on something like this is very risky because right now we are in a very hot culture atmosphere, and if you don't think or say the way certain people want you to think, then you can be attacked, you can be doxxed, you can be all kinds of stuff. So
Yes.
before we get into your story, how did you find the faith to or the courage to actually go ahead and come on and tell your story?
Well, God tells me that as a Christian, God tells me to not fear. He said, "Have courage and be of good courage, because I go wherever you go." And I was just tired of being scared, tired of being harassed for no reason when I have never hurt anybody in my life. I have never disrespected anybody in my life. And I thought that it was unfair to me. So that's when I said, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to be afraid anymore. I'm being demonized because I'm not endorsing what the popular media is endorsing, and that is not right. So that's what gave me the courage to come on here, and I want to thank you for inviting me to your channel to speak and give my testimony on why I stopped supporting the violence of BLM and how I turned red, went from left to red. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my absolute pleasure. So what made you start supporting BLM?
Well, I do have a lot of Black friends that I love and I respect, colleagues and friends of years. And I thought about them because, in general, I love all people. I don't care what your skin color is, I'm called to call everyone. And when I saw everything on social media, being advertised or, showing police brutality, my heart sank. And I thought to myself, this isn't right, and I have to say something about this. And I saw that a lot of people were posting black squares, and honestly, I didn't agree with that. I said, and a lot of people were saying this too. Um, so I thought, posting a black square on my social media is not going to do anything. So what I did is that I actually showed an entire clip, showing police brutality. It was actually a song, called "Why Are You Killing Us?" and I thought that would do more to spread awareness, in my mind, that Black people are being killed, and it is absolutely wrong, and there should be a stop to it. That's how passionate I was about this.
Right.
Mhm.
And so were your friends supportive of you not putting the black square but putting the video instead, or did they support that?
Um, to be honest, I didn't get called out for not putting a black square. Um, but I didn't get told. I wasn't told. Pardon. I try to speak Spanish sometimes. I wasn't told
Oh,
to. I wasn't told anything, actually. I did, in that same post, I said, I understand the anger and the frustration, but let's not riot and destroy our own communities, especially the Latino community who supports this movement a lot. I said, please, remember to keep us in mind. please don't destroy our community buildings and businesses, because if you do, we're not going to have the strength to support you. And I didn't get I wasn't told anything about that.
So when did you start? When did your vision of what Black Lives Matter was doing start changing?
So the moment it started changing was when new videos came to light, showing how they were literally just going to buildings of immigrants, inclusive Latino and Black businesses, and they were destroying, that. And I was like, wait, why is anybody talking about this on social media? Why isn't this on the news? That's when I felt that I had to say something, since I was responsible for promoting it in the first place. And hashtag, I in my post, Black Lives Matter, this is not right, and police brutality needs to end, like in big words. I felt the responsibility to as well condone it. So when I did this, I got a lot of hate from people calling me a racist, telling me that I don't like Black people, that I want to be white, that I have privilege because I'm brown or something. Just a lot
Wait,
of.
I mean, white privilege. So did you get from these same people that you were supporting, like your
Mhm.
friends and stuff? So how did your Black friends respond to you, um, saying, "Hey, why is Black Lives Matter doing this? Like, stop it." How did they respond?
Oh, it's actually very interesting. And thank you so much I love all your questions. Thank you so much that you asked me that, because my genuine friends that that are Black, and they didn't say anything to me. They were actually agreeing with me. They were like some of them that I didn't really speak to, that were more about social media. Honestly, people I saw that were doing it for the clout. They did unfollow me, a lot of people, but my good friends, they told me that they were against the violence, and that they didn't know where. One of them, he told me, I don't know where the money of Black Lives Matters is going, like, to. I don't see it going to Black schools or Black communities. So yeah, I believe that the movement is hijacked. That's what he told me. And so I actually saw more reaction from Gen Z kids, white kids, or Latino kids too, um, that younger kids, that they are just so influenced by the narrative of social media, that I do see that it's a cold mentality. If you don't support it, um, it's because, like I've said, you're against it. It's very, like, if it's not for it, if you're not for it, you're against it. So you must be all of these horrible things. But
Yeah, it's a very hard thing to say. If you go to someone and say, "Do Black Lives Matter?" They're like, "Yeah." Okay, well, you need to support this organization. Well, I don't support that organization, but then you're saying Black lives don't matter. Black Lives Matter, right? So give us some.
exactly.
Well, I don't. Why? And it's just like a dog trying to chase his tail. Is just going to go around and around in circle until you acquiesce to what they want.
Yeah.
So what did Black Lives Matter, did they destroy any of your community or directly, or was it just you were just seeing what they were doing to other communities?
I was seeing what they were doing um to my community and other communities. I That's what I saw. And a lot of the immigrant folk, like Mexican people, they are against that, because they are very conservative. Latinos are very conservative. They teach us values and morals. It's very, like, Catholic Christian. So they don't support this violence. So they have been condoning it. And what I see is that our age, um, Latino youth should be standing up for our parents, because they made a sacrifice to come to this country. They gave up so much, and they made these businesses. And so I just see a lot of hypocrisy that, you know, you're tearing down our own, and yet, you know, you're not standing up for Latinos, or you don't see that if you don't condemn this violence, we're not going to have the strength to support the Black movement.
So, so the businesses that were destroyed in your community, or were not, maybe not destroyed, but were maybe, looted or rioted, have they been able to get back on their feet, or are they still closed?
Um, no, one of them was completely destroyed. And I don't know if I can say the name, but
But you don't have.
um, okay. But yeah, I lost everything. It was like an ice cream business, made of immigrants, built by immigrant Mexicans. It was completely destroyed by Black Lives Matters, and they lost everything, unfortunately. And it's really heartbreaking to see that, because yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah, and a lot of their mentality is that, well, they have insurance, but a lot of them don't understand how insurance works, or about building.
Yes,
And even if insurance does cover some of it, it's still about the fact that I built this. This was something that I built, and
yes,
you came and tore it down for no reason. Like, for no reason. And they probably were actually supporting the movement of Black Lives Matter. But
yes,
when emotions are high, reason is low. And but I just think that they don't care what business they tear down. And a lot of times insurance
yes,
won't cover, because they don't. A lot of insurance were like, well, we don't cover rioting, we don't cover looting, or if they do, they're not going to cover it 100%. And so they're not looking at it at the fact that we're already in this pandemic or whatever, but people are already struggling. And now the fact is that this business is closed, and that's going to be a trickle down effect for their family as well as the people that they employed. And Nancy Pelosi is holding up this, what is it, the stimulus check. I mean, so it's just a down trickle effect. And I honestly
yes,
think
I
that
agree.
all the looting created secret Donald Trump voters.
Oh
Uh,
yes, definitely.
that's just so sad. Like, I believe in businesses. I don't just support Black businesses. I support Asian businesses. I support Hispanic businesses. I think that
Yes,
small businesses are the life and bloodline of the United States. And once you get rid of small businesses, then you get rid of the soul of America. I was, when Trump was holding his rallies last week. This one guy, he was a white guy. He said that he started supporting Trump during the lockdowns. He had a Dairy Queen business in the mall. He said it was flourishing, it was doing great, and then they locked it down. It was in New Jersey, and he said that it was too expensive to open back up with all of the requirements that they had, and or then he was going to have to fire like half of his crew because um, he could only have so many people work. I mean, it was just crazy. And he said that he had to make the hard choice to just completely shut down, and he lost everything. And now he's massively in debt, and he doesn't know what he's going to do. And he got 6 weeks of unemployment, and the government is asking for it back. It's just, it's just, it's horrible. It's horrible. And I've seen, like, with Black Lives Matter. I mean, that was due to the pandemic. But the thing is, in New Jersey, the Black Lives Matter were rioting and looting and all that kind of stuff. But so it's okay for them to do that, but I can't have my business open. It's just like you said, the hypocrisy. I mean, you see what they're doing to your neighborhood, and you want to speak out about it, but then you're scared to. So tell us a little bit about um, what happened to you when you started speaking out about it, like the threats that you were getting.
So the threats where you shouldn't be talking about this. You know, you're not Black. One of them was like I don't know. Can I say it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can say it.
Okay. It was like, oh, like this clique is coming for this clique is gonna come for you, and I was thinking, okay, so many people when the video started coming out of the rioting and the looting, where try I could see that they were trying to talk about it. So I thought, okay, why are they gonna come after me only if there's other people that are trying to talk about it too. And I just stopped responding and start ignoring. One of them was like, "Oh, this person is, is dangerous. You should stop talking about it. They can hurt you, they can kill you." And I was like, "I'm not talking about anybody. I'm not related to any gang. I'm not talking bad about any gang." So in my mind, because I stopped responding and I just did not engage. But in my head, I was thinking, I have no problems with anybody, so I don't need to be scared when I'm giving my opinion on a world matter. But that was just an example of the threats that I was getting.
I haven't. Well, I did have. I think you saw my video about what happened with BLM. Most
Yes.
of it for me has been people just have stopped talking to me, like family, friends, all kinds of stuff. So, and it is what it is at this point. I'm not going to backtrack. Even with all of this
Yes.
election stuff going on, I still believe that Trump will get 4 more years, especially with all of the apparent election fraud. So let's start right there.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so what? So you voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016.
Yes. And the reason that I voted for her was just because everybody was saying that Donald Trump was racist. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't educated on the matter, and I was just listening to what people were saying on the news, and that he said that he hated Mexicans. So I was like, no, my vote is not going to go for him. And I actually cried when he was elected president because of how the media painted him, literally painted him as the devil. And so I even cried, like I wept, and I was like, I can't believe that, this president who is a racist is elected, who Donald Trump, is elected president. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't fathom.
Yeah, I mean, it was for me. Um, when I go in and look at party platforms, well, for me, I had already done my research in the Democratic Party, and I was never going to vote. I tell people I will never vote blue, no matter who. I don't care who it is. But see, I looked at the policies that they had, and I wasn't going for Trump. I definitely wasn't voting for Hillary. But when all of the panel of the Republicans came out in 2016, I didn't vote. I wasn't going for Trump. I thought he was a joke. I mean, I thought he was funny the way that he was calling out each of the candidates. I mean, he made it entertaining to watch, but I'm like, this dude is never going to be president. I was actually going for either Ted Cruz or Ben Carson, and when they got out of it,
Hmm.
uh, I was like, okay. I just kind of stopped paying attention, and then like maybe a couple of days before the election day, me and my friend went and said, let's look and see what his platform says. And so I looked at it, and most politicians don't do what they're going to say. They say make a promise, excuse me, they make a promise and they don't do it. So I was like, okay, well, these look fantastic. I'm just gonna vote for him and let's see what happens. And to be honest with you, I felt like I didn't feel comfortable placing my vote with Trump. I was like, I'm voting.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna vote for Hillary, and I
Yes.
knew that I needed my vote because I knew if that woman got in office, it would be worse 100 times than what. Well, I don't know because Biden and Kamala. I don't know, but I just knew that the justices were going to be a state because I knew that what's her name, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, RBG was going to be retiring at some time, and I wasn't going to take a chance of letting Hillary pick a SCOTUS. So I
Hmm.
hesitated, voted for Trump. And then I really didn't pay attention to what he was doing until they started saying impeachment. I'm like, what is he being impeached for? And
Yes.
and really he was being impeached for what the Democrats for asking what Hunter Biden was doing in Burisma in Ukraine. And why was he on? So
Yes.
yeah, he got impeached when they should have been impeached. They impeached him for the illegal stuff that they were doing. So I was like, I was just so confused. I'm like, why is he being impeached? And then all of my, because at that point, I had only a couple of people knew that I voted for Trump, but most of the people I hung around with were like, I hope this MF gets,
Yes.
gets impeached and blah blah blah. He's racist, and I'm like, how is he racist? What?
Yes.
Because everyone loved him before, especially the black community before he got into office. And I was just so confused. And so that's when I started paying attention. And then, or it may have been also with Kavanaugh when they started attacking Kavanaugh. And I was like, wait a minute, I have three sons. What if some girl falsely claims from, they're 40 and when they were 12, something happened. And I'm like, they're really doing this. They're really just
Yes.
say that if a woman says something, you have to believe that woman.
Yes.
And so I was like, this is wrong. But I still wasn't, I was talking about it with my other friends, but that's when I started paying attention during the Kavanaugh hearing. And then, so after that was done, then I kind of tuned off. And then the impeachment, I'm like, what? But then really during, when I really, 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 really started paying attention was during the lockdowns. So at what point did you start paying attention and say, look, I got to vote for Trump?
I agree with what you said. I can relate with the first part because when they started saying the impeachment too, and I started noticing because I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, so I have some background in studying the mind and how the mind works.
Mm-hmm.
And and we are taught, psychology majors are taught, firsthand that social media does not always tell you the truth. So that when when I voted for Hillary, I was actually starting my major, like my term in college. So I didn't really know. So having said that, when I started seeing that everything that Trump did was like evil, 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 and and I saw started paying attention of how he was being portrayed on social media, how he was always shown with like an angry face or with like a rude mannerism, and the opponent was always, seen in a better light. We saw that with Biden and Trump elections, also in PBS, where Trump would be um, uh, showcased as somebody that has been accused of racism, versus, and then Joe Biden, somebody that has understood the struggle of having a child, having a son that has faced challenges of drug abuse. It's so clear, and it is so easy to see the fallacies and the lies of social media. Like for me, it's very easy. I'm not saying I'm smarter than anybody else, but I'm just saying that if you don't see that in plain sight, that's when you're lying to yourself, and you need to stop looking at his personality, which is what I did. I stopped looking at his personality, at some things that he has said, and I started looking into to his policies, and has have the Latinos, have immigrants really had opportunity while he has been in term. And what I found is that yes, economy is going good for us. So the people that are working Latinos. So that's when I said no, like he can't be that evil. If he was that evil, or racist, he would be traveling all over the world right now. If he was just greedy and didn't care about anybody. He doesn't need to be taking hate from anybody. Like if I was rich, I probably wouldn't be running for president if I knew social media hated me, and I don't see him doing that.
And
So
also donated all of his salaries. He didn't get paid.
yes, exactly, yes. And he did give out a lot of stimulus checks, and he did give out aid. So that's where I was taught not to be unthankful. So I'm not I'm not gonna say, oh, he didn't do anything for the Latinos, because he did. And I think that some people that have had the same opportunity as me, I have seen that, like the people that had the same opportunity to grow in this country and to work, that their life choices, they didn't want to work or go to school. I see those people that are F Trump, and he's the reason that we don't have jobs, and he's the devil. And that's when I say, okay, like, me and you had the same opportunities, and you're saying that the president stopped you from achieving your dreams, that the president stopped you from finding a job. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't believe that, because we were in the same place, and I'm actually, thank God, I'm doing good. I have a job, I have a career. So that's where I have to disagree, and I have to say I'm gonna put policy over personality. I'm gonna vote for Trump.
So your psychology degree kind of helped you see, okay, this man cannot be this evil. I mean, like, not like, if I honestly believe that if he said air is good, then people would start holding their breath. I mean, like,
Yes.
the media, it was a study shown that over 90% of the US media was negative towards Trump. But I also saw a study that it was like between 30 or 40% of of Latinos under Trump started new businesses, started their own companies under his presidency, because he took away those regulations and he took away all the red tape, and he also cut taxes for everyone.
Yes.
Now Biden, I mean, I'm right now, I'm just so frustrated. I am intensely frustrated, not just at the Democrats trying to steal this allegedly
Oh, yes.
steal this election, but of people who are voting for it. They don't even know what they're voting for. They're just voting off of the narrative that this man is racist, that this man hates black people, hates Mexicans, hates Latinos, and they have no idea the legislation that he put forth, as far as like bringing in
Hmm.
Latino
Hmm.
members of the community and asking, what do y'all need for your community? Bringing in black leaders. He got the Amish vote. Like, okay, so
I
he
agree
got,
completely.
let me see. I have the statistics here. So
Yes.
your people are trying to tell us that this man who did not run a campaign got more votes than any president in the history of the United States. And
Yes.
this is what the breakdown went. 32% of the Hispanic vote went to Trump. 31% of the Asian vote went to Trump. 15 to 16% of the black vote went to Trump. 55% of Cubans went to Trump. 30% of Puerto Ricans went to Trump. And 48% of Hispanic vote in Florida went to Trump, but Biden.
Yes.
So I tell people, be of good cheer. Trump knew that they were going to do this. That he knew that they were going to try to steal the election, and so he has like over 1,000 lawyers in place, and it's just blatant. I've seen videos of co-workers actually filling out ballots. I've seen videos of them throwing away ballots, and it's
Me
just
too.
it's just crazy. And for me, I'm a very straight arrow person. If I
Yes.
was to see the Republicans doing this, I would be disgusted. Because
Me
I
too.
want a fair election, and this is not has not been a fair election, and I think that it will be overturned in the Supreme Court of the United States. And I think that that's why they fought so hard for Amy Coney Barrett not to get in there, because she's like going to be the deciding vote.
I agree with you completely. And what I see with the vote situation is that, and I've talked about this on my Instagram, that people just, you can't ignore that the entire law enforcement is voting for Trump. And also because
Yeah.
the left has ridiculed them, made them look so bad on social media, has not supported the police force. And so if you can't see that, like, you're just oblivious, like you don't want to see the truth. And second of all, so many people, like I said, they're not voting for Trump because his personality is a cup of tea for them. Like I've seen now, actually last week, a couple of Latino friends, they were saying we're not voting for Trump because he's our cup of tea, because we like him, we know what he has, the media has said about him, but we're voting for him because we're tired of you destroying our community. So yes, a lot of Latinos did vote for Trump, and the fact that that's going to be ignored is very dangerous, because our democracy is being violated, and that's what people don't see. It's like you're letting social media decide who the president is. It's very wrong, and it's very dangerous to our liberty, to our constitutional rights. Not to mention that all the people that are against socialism, voted for Trump because they
Yeah.
escaped. Sorry,
Oh no, go
they,
ahead.
they escaped places where there is actually oppression, and they're not going to be like, oh, I hate Trump, so I'm going to choose socialism. Like, no, they have lost parents, um especially the Cubans. They unfortunately they have lost parents. Mexicans too. They are going to fight for their rights, and that's why a lot of them have turned right, and that's something social media is not talking about. So yes, the Latinos did vote. They had a bigger turnout for Trump in this election.
So in your community, where the was the Hispanic vote, was it silent, or were they out there with Trump flags, Trump hats, or was it just kind of like, yeah, I voted for Trump too? Was it, or were they like um with the red MAGA hat, or was it just kind of like they were talking about the silent, the shy Trump voter, because you know what happens when you come out for Trump, or
Oh
was
yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
oh no problem. So were they or was it like kind of split? Some people were really out for Trump, or was it just
So yes, what I how I answer that question is that it has to do with the culture, because I see that the culture that is more like dismantle the system, and I think we know what we're talking about here. They just hate whoever is president, and we do have that a lot in our in our community. It's divided, but people will not wear a MAGA hat. Like, no, we Mexicans, we will be told, we will be ridiculed by our own community. We will be told by people who are not, making an effort to inform themselves on policies, and they're just following their emotions. We will be told that, we want to be white, like the same thing that you hear when you're not for, the violence of BLM. Like I've said, um, it's not about really. It's We have to be careful when we generalize on our race, because what I see is that the people that are of this culture of they just don't like how the system works, like the system at all. They're saying, yes, burn this down. They're literally saying, burn this
yeah,
system to the ground. And
right?
that's when conservative Mexicans, which are many, they usually don't go on social media and talk about this. They're not on the internet, fighting with people. And Mexican people, um, the ones, who have a lot of conservative values, they will say that they will have a conversation with you, and they will tell you, oh yeah, I voted for him because work is good, because he helped. They will tell you, but it really is a community that is divided right now. It's like, if you're not saying F Trump, this is what really angers me, is that some Mexicans, and again, not all, it's divided. There's two. They will say, if you're not saying F Trump, you're not Mexican. So so I'm sorry, but this is very misleading, because a lot of us who grew up with conservative values, which is in the Mexican culture, which is what surprises me that a lot of people don't talk about this. Um, we're not gonna hate someone. Like we're not gonna hate the president. We're not gonna hate Biden or Trump. So the fact that these people are saying like, oh no, like they feel entitled that they can insult you, because you're supporting Trump. They will call you, a dumbass or stupid, and that's what gives me the strength to speak up and say like, no, I'm sorry, but you don't represent all the Mexicans, who are working hard in this country.
That's interesting because Black people are told the same thing. Like, if you don't vote Democrat, then you're not Black. You're a bootlicker. You know,
Yes.
I got called a Sambo. I'm like, let me go look this up. Go see what this is. Like, it doesn't even, the names don't even bother me anymore. I'm like, and I told one guy, I'm like, can you come up with some new names? These are like old, because first of all, I don't answer to what I'm not. And two, I know that any vote that I make is going to be an informed vote. I'm not going to vote off
Yes.
emotionalism. And I could care less about Trump's personality because even I have men say, oh, you want to vote for someone who's going to grab women by the, and I'm like, let's put out, like, I know what you've done in the past. So let's put
Yes.
what you've done with women and what you're
Yes.
doing right now to women. For
Yes.
Well, I'm not running for president. I said, but it doesn't matter. I said, I mean, you want to judge someone's character and all that. Three fingers come back to you. So if you're not righteous and you're not perfect, then you don't have the right to judge anyone else. And
Yes.
I'm not looking for Jesus to come, the Messiah to come on Air Force One. We all know that Trump is not the Messiah. We all
He's
know that
not.
he's not perfect. But if you look at every last one of his policies that he said that he was going to do, he actually did every last thing that he was going to do, even with the obstruction of the Democrats. So I voted for him in 2016, and there was nothing that was going to stop me from voting for him in 2020. And we're actually getting together, like, to go and petition. Well, Texas is red, but who knows what there was like some voter fraud here too, and if Texas in a red state can have voter fraud, I just imagine what's going on in the blue state.
Yeah.
So, what does your family say about you supporting Trump?
Well, I gave them my reasons, and usually, my family, they don't speak English, and that's where I feel the responsibility. I have to inform myself, and I have to stop caring about what people think about me, because I actually do love my family and I want them to prosper, and I want their sacrifice, to come to this nation to be honored. And that's when I inform them, and they listen to me. They really listen to me, and they support me. They say, okay, you went to school, and they trust me, and I love my family because they support me, they trust me, and they back me up, so I'm thankful to God about that. But it's usually other people, that don't even know you, and that I see that they're not doing anything, they're not going to, I don't know, they're just not doing anything. And I say, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna put you over my family. Like, and if you really wanted better for the Latino community, you would inform yourselves, you would get over your emotions, you would stop thinking about what other people think about you, and you would take a stand, and you would inform yourself, you would educate yourself on the policy, and just stop crying like a little baby just to fit in with others. And you're completely careless, which is the biggest hypocrisy. You're completely careless about the Latino and the Mexicans who are working hard here, and Mexican people are very hardworking. So for those people that are not doing anything and are blaming, their failures on the president, like, I'm sorry, but I have to speak up for the Mexican people who do work hard, and it's the majority, of the construction workers that I have spoken to as well, and some of them have said, "Oh yeah, I would vote for Trump. You know, if I had papers, I would vote for Trump," because they're just so grateful to come here and be working. You know, they're just so grateful because they know what it's like to not have the same opportunity in Mexico. You know, they know what it's like to not have a living wage. You know, people are struggling a lot. You know, in my native country. You know, and they actually are voting for Trump. And another one of my friends, she is not a citizen, a Mexican, and she told and she supports Trump, and she tells me also, you know, if I had papers, I would vote for him. You know, I don't understand what people are saying, that they're oppressed. If, you know, I have access to food stamps, and I have access to cash, and you know, I got this help during COVID. I got EDD during COVID. So a very conservative Mexican woman, and she says, so I don't understand why people are saying that they are not having opportunities with this president. So she would vote for Trump.
Well, I've seen actually in Mexico where they're having Trump caravans, and also in Nigeria, also in
Yes.
Israel,
Yes.
also in Australia. Australia is like they are terrified about what's going to happen because America is the only thing that's keeping China from attacking them. And I get mad because people don't, the uninformed voters who just vote blue no matter who are 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 trying to destroy America, and they don't even know. They're just like, well, we hate him or
Yes.
this and that, but you don't know that you're taking away school choice from people. You're about to destroy Oklahoma, Texas, Philadelphia because they want to get rid of oil and fracking. That
Yes.
they want to, you know, just do all of this stuff that's going to cost. I mean, they're about to take away Trump tax cuts that not only cut the tax for the rich, but or the businesses, which allowed them to hire more people, but it's also going to affect the middle class. I mean, I
Yes.
makes me so mad that like if you hate America that much, then you should go to a communist nation. Go over there and go try to riot in Cuba. Go try to riot in Venezuela.
You
Go try
can't.
to riot in Mexico. Go tell them, go tell all these countries that you want a $15 minimum wage and see what happens. You know,
Yes.
go try to say I got freedom of speech over there. The US is the only nation that has the US Constitution that is supposed to allow freedom of speech. Like go over there to London and try to get a gun. You can't.
You
You
can't.
no. So it just
You will get killed.
you go even in Mexico.
You will
Like
get killed.
I remember one time in Mexico because I follow news all over. A sheriff was voted in, and I guess the cartel didn't like him, and that next day he was dead. So it's like our democracy, our republic. You're voting to destroy that for communism, and you don't even know what communism is, and you're talking capitalism is evil. What?
Yes, I want to say that I need to, you know, say that in Mexico, people respect the cartel immensely, because, and that's what I have to say here too,
Yeah,
because we have to respect it, because you can't talk bad about them, because you know it's gonna put you in danger, and people in Mexico know this. You know, people in Mexico know this, and that is why you don't hear anybody talking about anything in Mexico. That's where I I just can't understand why so many people, like you said, they're just voting blue, because that is what social media, the Democrats have taught us, that me being brown, you know, or you being black, that means you have to vote Democrat. That's a brainwashing tactic, and that's not right. And like you said, this is the only country that we can actually uh, talk about our opinions. We have freedom of speech, and you know, uh, I don't know if you have seen what's happening right now since social media is claiming that Biden is president. They're doing the Trump project, the Trump supporter project, and where
Yeah,
they, yeah, by the
AOC.
AOC, and I think communism. Like, wow, people. I can't believe uh, Latinos are saying that. Okay, you're voting for Biden. Just like you said, they don't know anything about the policy, and yet you're supporting communism. Like
Yeah.
you're supporting communism,
And
and
one word that they've changed it? They've changed it to progressive. And that's what the Cubans were like. No, Hugo Chavez was talking about progressive, and all these other dictators. You can change it to progressive, but we know you mean communism. And socialism is just the gateway to communism.
yes, yes, I loved history. When I went to high school, and I actually got an A+, but in history, and it's history repeating itself all over again. And the reason why I mentioned that is because I see a lot of people that they didn't even do, and I'm not putting anyone down, but
I
I
am.
just I okay, I will put them
You
down.
need when you
You
vote.
need to. You need
Yes,
to.
if you don't
I
know what the policies are, then you shouldn't be voting.
Yes, I see people that didn't do well in school actually went to continuation school, and they're coming out here just spreading their hate, and they don't care about the community, and they don't care to risk our Latino community as well. That you're telling them to vote for communism, like how ignorant and how hypocritical, you know like you don't care, you just care about clout. And right now a lot of people, it's so sad to see that they only care about popularity and likes, and want to be good with Cardi B politics. It's like not right.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But so Crystal, you have your own YouTube channel.
Yes.
So what is your? I'm gonna also link it below.
Oh,
But
thank you.
what is your YouTube channel, and do you kind of talk about politics or whatever? What is your YouTube channel about?
Oh, okay. So my I have two channels. One is Crystal Favela, and the other one is Crystal J Music. So in Crystal Favela, I do plan it's a Christian channel because I love God, and I talk about the Word of God, and that's something that I'm gonna start doing. And my Crystal J music is more about Christian music covers and worship songs. So very simple channel. So if you would like to, subscribe, go see what I'm gonna be doing, go check it out.
All right. Well, Crystal, thank you so much for being on my show, getting the courage to come out. We'll be collaborating with some more things because, especially on the Christian front, I may want to have you on with some other ladies just to talk
Okay.
about some our faith, building faith, all that kind of stuff. Because especially right now, but we don't just need faith for this election; we need faith for our lives. And a lot of people, the Bible
Yes.
that we need that we don't walk by not by sight. We walk by faith and not by sight. But a lot of people right now are walking by sight and not by faith. And the Bible, I mean, Jesus said, "When I come back, will I find faith?" He didn't say, "Will I find churches? Will I find this? Will I find all this?" He said, "Will I find faith?" So I really want to do a series on faith.
Yes.
I do. I want to invite you on to come and talk about it.
Thank you.
But thank y'all for watching. Thank you for being on. And please share, like, subscribe. I'm going to put Crystal's YouTube information in the description. Go to her page, support her pages. Conservative voices need to try to drown out the liberal voices. So support her page. And thank y'all for watching. God bless you and God bless America.
Thank you so much, Chastity. Thank you for having me. God bless you. God bless everyone.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Bye.